Alright, we are live. Great. I'm pretty sure I scheduled the tweet this time, so it's not the wrong day. Because that was embarrassing. But yeah. So where we last left off, we'd gone to Royal Waterways, Deep Nest, Ancient Basin. We did a lot last time. And hopefully we're going to do a decent amount this time as well. Oh yeah, we died over there near the end, and so I have to go get back and get soul. Though we don't really need it per se, because we could always go back up to the top, and I think there's the person who we can get it back from, which might be a bit easier because that area is, I feel like, a bit over leveled for me, at least for like my skill level, perhaps. But then there's lots of things to do because we can explore more of Ancient Basin. There's still that whole mining area up here which we haven't explored. There's Deep Nest, which we recently discovered, and I'm assuming something extends all the way over to that marker, and like up by Queen Station and stuff. So there's still plenty to explore, regardless of where we go. Plus, looks like there's a bit of stuff this way as well. The map doesn't go that far, but also there are exits at the end of like where our shadow is. So I'm assuming there's something there. But yeah, so let's try and get it back at least, and then we'll see. Yeah, if I don't get it back this time around, I'll go up to the village and just pay, or whatever it is. Because that's a lot more convenient. Yeah. Back to the bugs, yeah. Back to fighting bugs, and hopefully less spikes this time, because those were miserable. I'd rather face pretty much any of the bugs if it means I get to avoid spikes. Oh, why I fall in there? Yeah. It's kind of funny because a friend of mine, like IRL friend, started playing this as well recently, and now I'm concerned they're gonna lap me. So I want to finish this, like decently soon. Even though I'm still not sure like how much longer. I imagine there's a fair bit still. Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna make it. Like I'm gonna beat it faster than she will, but I can at least try. And there's if I were to beat it, like the sooner I beat it, I also have some other playing on Steam. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think it is meant to be played like on controller, which I was dumb and did not bring with me to university, even though I totally could have. I had multiple opportunities visiting back home to bring, God, to bring a controller, but nope, I just completely forgot every single time. Oh yeah, playing on stream, yeah. I mean, I still could do it. I could avoid, like, I could probably beat it fairly soon if I just manage my IRL time better, so that I'd have more time to, like, do stuff like this. But that's a whole nother can of worms. Did I not get the shadow back? I thought I could have sworn. Oh, great. But yeah, playing on stream's a bit different. I will say it does make me realize how much I just play like all in one go, and I kind of miss not being able to do that for like Dead Space and stuff. I'm like kind of itching to play again, but I know I don't really have the like. I really shouldn't both do it off stream obviously, and also gotta be careful of like how much time I'm playing stuff. But yeah, there's some other games that I want to try on stream as well. Hopefully over the next couple weeks. As next week I have a bit more time than this week. And then it's gonna be a bit busy again after that because of like, exams and all that stuff. But then it gets a bit later. My schedule is very like fluctuating, which isn't great for like planning a consistent like routine. But yeah, like it's like I said, it's very fluctuating. So even like within a week as well. Like some days I'll just have like a couple of classes. Yeah, if I have exams, can't be helped. I mean, yeah, that's just is what it is. They are most of mine are like take home slash over the course of multiple days. So that's it's not like I can't do anything theoretically. So I'll still be able to like probably do a couple streams over like the exam period or something. But I obviously am not gonna give this my full attention or anything, because exams are more important. But yeah, even my schedule like in university is just pretty like fluctuating during the week. Some days I'll have like just one class, and then others I'll have like 3 or so. So it makes it very inconsistent. Like today I only have one class, which part of why I chose to stream today. Yeah, today and Tuesday, which is why I started streaming like Tuesdays and Fridays initially. Now I'm thinking of doing more Fridays, Saturdays, because it might be a bit better, and maybe Tuesdays as well, depending on how the week's going. And so it's normally fine, but then on certain days like today where I had a test, like a big test in the course, it can be a bit stressful because the timing can be a bit tight sometimes because it's a decently long class and all, especially with an assignment or test where I qualify for extra time, so it kind of messes up with all my scheduling and stuff. But I didn't really realize that when planning things out, so I had a bit of a scare with my schedule, but it ended up working out fine. Yeah, that's why I much prefer, as part of why I much prefer like essay style or like papers to tests, because there's substantially less like of a there's more of a time commitment in terms of like the amount of hours and stuff that I'm working, but less so in terms of like I don't have to be here at this specific time, this specific date. And so if I miss that specific time, this specific date for whatever reason, it's not the end of the world. Because like that has happened. I have really terrible time perception, and like insomnia and stuff sometimes, which has led me, unfortunately, sleeping through one of the tests in the course, which sucked, and yeah, but it is what it is. There are other courses, and I'll have more opportunities at university, so it's not the end of the world. Even if I may, yeah, it's an oof. I'm probably gonna fail the course because of it, or partly because of it. But again, like it is what it is. The course itself is pretty interesting. It's just between missing that test and also the like way they mark the course being purely tests, which I really struggle with. Like, because it's very memorization based. Like, specific dates, specific people. What do these Greek words mean in this context and stuff? Where like I just even like at my best, I'm gonna struggle with that. So it's not like completely unexpected, and it's not the end of the world. Uh, I'll have more opportunities and stuff, and there's other courses and stuff. It just is a good opportunity. I can redo subjects. Yeah, I can take the course again if I wanted to. I probably won't, because despite being interested, like I said, I think it's just a problem with me and the way that they are marking it, and like how I don't really work well with like, because if it is, the problem is that it's exclusively based, the mark is exclusively based off of tests. So I don't actually like, none of it's based on like essays or papers, which is where I am a lot better at. So if it was like even like 50% test, 50% that, it would be a lot, I'd be doing a lot better probably. And so I don't really want to redo the subject despite it being super interesting, because I think it's just gonna be like, I'm gonna struggle at memorizing these things again, and there's not really a point. But there are still a lot of interesting courses and stuff that I can take outside of that, even in the summer. What I'm really looking forward to in university is like research papers type stuff, where I have a lot more freedom. Like, and that's like very late, like fourth year type stuff. But I'm really interested in like that kind of thing. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Can we purchase anything? Yeah. Part of life is working. No, no stress. Exactly. It's like, it's not the end of the world. My family is incredibly understanding about stuff for me. I like my mental health and that kind of thing. So they're like, alright, I just need to, make sure it doesn't happen again, because then it's more of an issue. Yeah. Speaking of my family, I'm so jealous because they're on a trip right now. They just left to go to Japan, and I'm very jealous because it's like March break basically for my sister. So they're going on trips and stuff. But no, I do not get to go because I have like, school and university and everything, and I can't really miss, especially not at the moment. Uh, I'm not sure, to be honest, I'm not really sure what I'd go to visit if I were in Japan. Like, I don't have like a specific thing I'd visit or anything. Can I not go past here? Huh, guess not. Uh, but I don't know, it kind of sucks not going with them. But it also means if I were to go back for a week, oh, onsen, that's true. Yeah, like saunas or that kind of thing. That does seem fun. Uh, yeah, and it would just be nice to go to different places. Because while I have like visited a fair few places, it's most of those have been like the Caribbean or Europe. And so like going to like somewhere in Asia uh, would be nice. Yeah, I'm interested how they'll go with like the language barrier and stuff. Because I mean, they're a bit better at languages than I am, but we're all like exclusively English speakers. So, well, like language barrier, visiting Japan. My family is visiting Japan at the moment, which is what I'm talking about. Support. So, they don't speak Japanese, and certainly like can't read, write it, or anything. So I'm curious to see like how they'll fare with that. Is it? I don't know. Is it cherry blossom season? I don't know when that actually is. I've assumed it was spring, but I don't know if that's like my spring or like their spring in like autumn for me. Because I imagine they'll want to see that. I mean, I don't really know what like tourist attraction. I'm sure there are tons in Japan, but I just can't think of any that I've heard of off the top of my head. Besides like the cherry blossoms, that kind of thing. So it's not like I can really think of many for Canada either, to be fair. Yeah, I have an iPhone, and they have phones and stuff, so I'm sure they'll probably be fine. Like with that. But I know Google can like translate. Google Translate is sometimes not the best with like Japanese, I think. So. God, I need to pay a bit more attention. That's the story of my life, I guess. But we're. Oh, I'm using a really shitty mic. I don't like. It's basically a headphone mic. I want to get a better mic at some point, but I want to get a job and stuff first. So probably like June, May, perhaps. I want to get a job in May. But I'm also garbage at job interviews, so it could take a bit longer. So yeah, I'll probably try and get a new mic, May or June, around then, and then, yeah, that's the goal. I mean, the good thing is I have plenty of like games and stuff when it comes for things to stream, and like I also wanna try and branch out into more like chatting and like deep dive style content. And so I guess it's not like I'm not gonna have stuff to stream. It's more I just need to improve like the quality, you know? So like improving mic and all that kind of thing. How do I need a double jump to get here? I feel like probably. I'm not sure I can make this. No, and I can't spike jump either. That's alright. Guess we're going this way. Finding a bench would be nice. A bit low. Well, there's one down there, but that's not helpful. Oh, speak of the devil. This looks like a boss room. I think I was right on the mark on that. Oh. If you have a USB to lightning port charger, not sure how well it'll play with fungi though. Yeah, I mean I've gotten some like mic suggestions and stuff. So I'm gonna like look more into that and like a better mic and stuff. Like I saw a couple on Amazon that I like wishlisted just so that I remember them. But I'm gonna go more into depth. YouTube is filtering comments. OBS camera. Use phone as mic. Audio autism is a black hole of autism. Don't go too deep. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know like anything about all that kind of stuff myself, so I've mainly just been asking people who might know better. God, the stupid bats are the worst. And so, like, just getting feedback, suggestions, and stuff. Same thing I did with like my computer and everything, because I don't really know tech stuff very well. I'm in humanities for a reason, but I know I have like friends and stuff who do. Where's the bench? It's up. The OBS camera app, is that what you're suggesting, support? I can give it a shot. I have it downloaded, I think, but I haven't used it. God. That is true. I could save my money and buy a Baldo. That's a real investment. Those only go up in value. God damn it. Well, I didn't have that much Geo on me anyways. Oh, true, it is a Vivaldo. That's my bad. I should have made the mistake. Lasts a lifetime, or however long it takes for Chinese plastic to break. True. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's, you know, designed to be practically indestructible. I mean, theoretically, it's got to be, like, somewhat durable, because, like, handling vibrations, I assume. But, again, I don't know anything about, like, product design or materials and stuff, but that seems logical to me. Yeah, that's true. If it's too hard, it'll hurt. Yeah, I mean, soft doesn't necessarily mean, like, breakable. Because there's plenty of stuff that's, like, durable. Because a lot of the times, if it's just too brittle, then it'll break. At least to my knowledge. Like, things will break. So, it could be, but obviously you don't want it too soft either. Because then, it's kind of useless. I guess to find out, we guess we'll just have to find out and buy the product. That's the best way to know, right? I need to get two actually, one to like try and break and one to just leave and see how long it lasts. You know, you gotta get the experiment. Talking from experience. Nah, I don't have experience with shit, unfortunately. But, yeah, Baldo control group, exactly. True, always got a hydraulic press video, that's content right there. Pure content. Alright, so going to Crystal Peaks did not go great. But there is still plenty to explore there, so I feel like it's worth going back. Excited for this new chapter of sponsorship for FlaVR lore. True. You know, it's great seeing all my senpais and FlaVR get sponsored and everything by such reputable and, you know, established sponsors. Yeah. My only goal as a FlaVR streamer is to someday reach that level of notoriety. Notoriety feels like the right word in this case. Oh, there's 2 places into Crystal Peak? Huh. Better than the NFT sponsor product? True. Do people still buy NFTs? I've just been assuming they've been dead. I do not have a throne. I mean, oh, 1 cent NFT. I mean, that's fine. Oh, yeah. I don't have a problem with like 1 cent NFTs and stuff, but there is like, I don't know, it does confuse me a bit. I know, but sir, it does confuse me a bit, like buying the more expensive ones. First, the FlaVR merch. No, more NFTs, not butt plugs, NFTs. And Albert, I don't think I need a butt plug fund. I think we're fine on that front. I don't think I would get much use. But yeah, no, I don't have a throne. I did like sign up just so I could like stake the name basically, but I have no intention of like actually like opening up really. Just because I don't think, frankly, like the quality and stuff of streams are worth it that people should, and so I'd rather like kind of prove myself more and like actually commit more with like getting a better mic and all that kind of stuff, and then see about like a throne or something like that. Because I'm still like just doing this just for fun and stuff, and and so it's not that big a deal to me. And so you know, I don't like. It would be nice to have a throne and stuff, but like, I don't think there's really a big point. Yeah. And it's not like I really need anything. Like, I technically have all the stuff I need to stream. Like, a mic would be a big improvement, but it's not necessary. And so I'm gonna like, get that when I'm able to, and not try to, like, rush it by asking for, like, contributions and stuff, because that feels a bit unfair, because people have their own needs and, other stuff, and frankly, like, there are other streamers that, like, just make better videos. And so I would say, like, if you want to donate to me, donate to like other people in FlaVR instead and stuff. Though maybe not butt plugs with that, I would say. I don't think other people are as interested. Okay, that makes it sound like I'm interested. No, I don't think other people, myself included, are that interested in a butt plug donation. Okay, that's a bit better. Have I been to this area, or do I just have it from... I think I just have this area from the map. Oh wait, no, I've been this. I think we were here briefly when we were exploring here in like first couple streams. Oh, God. They somehow like reinvented the spike as crystals and made it worse. God. You could say it's bad game architecture. That's fair. I would say it's more. I just have like the most atrocious memory ever. And so it's more like that's the problem. And I think for a game about exploring, I don't think it's that much of like a design issue. That like you may not recognize stuff initially when you're going back to it. Because I think that also kind of, if it's not like overdone where you're getting lost too much, then I think it works kind of nicely. Makes things feel a bit fresh each time, and like helps you get less bored. But obviously, if it's at the point where you're like getting lost too easily and it becomes like annoying, then that's an issue. But I don't think that's the case here. And whenever it is me getting, it's just me being completely dumb because I like opened the map like a minute ago and still forgot where I was going. God, I thought they stopped with the laser at a certain point. But yeah, there is like an issue with like design and stuff, but I don't think this is the game that has it like the worst. Never felt deja vu in places like Disney World, less of theme parks. Yeah, I mean I feel like deja vu with a lot of places all the time, because like especially around where I live and stuff. Because I don't go out much. Surprise, surprise, what a twist. So I always would be, when I'm walking around like my neighborhood and stuff, would be like, oh yeah, or a bit like outside of that. Like, oh yeah, which street is this again? This feels familiar. And then it'll be one that is not that far, and I feel like an idiot because of that. But yeah, I know. Shock, I don't go out much. I'm gonna say that's mostly because of the weather. And that's definitely not an excuse for, that's not coping there. It's definitely because of the weather that I don't go out much. If the weather was nicer, especially in the winter, I'd go out more for sure. God, this guy's annoying. Yeah, I definitely have a lot of like the stereotypical traits of like, you know, doesn't go outside much, messy, and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of those traits I would fall under. But I still blame the weather for that, including the messiness bit. That's definitely 100% the weather right there. And not just me being lazy. Yeah, operate under the assumption the weather will always get worse. Yeah, that's fair. I just stay inside mostly. It's during winter and go out as little as possible because I get cold really easily. So that kind of helps in terms of managing with the weather, but it doesn't help in terms of like going out and getting exercise and being a productive member of society when I want to stay inside constantly and all that stuff. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. But yeah, it can always get worse. We don't get much like extreme weather, I think. It just gets pretty snowy, pretty cold and stuff sometimes. Which everyone else seems to handle completely fine, but I just like freeze to bits. Yeah, I'm much more at home in like warmer climates and stuff. I much prefer like it being too hot than it being too cold. I know most people don't like that, which I thought was weird when I first learned about it. Most people actually like if it's too cold because you know you can put layers on and stuff. But I always much prefer like, oh god, he like clipped me right there. Much prefer if the weather's too hot because then you can get like, I don't know, have ice cream and stuff and like have a fan out if I'm really getting too hot. It's much less of like an issue for me. But everyone else is the complete opposite, which was weird to learn. Yeah. My point is the best time about winter is when you get to go inside and be warm again and warming up. It's not actually the cold stuff. So therefore, because of that, you know, the best time being when it's warm, that warm weather is better because even when it's cold weather, it's the warm weather that's really the good thing. And the being warm and that feeling. But I will say there is some benefit to colder weather and stuff. And like skiing and that kind of thing is super fun. Snowball fights are a lot of fun, all that stuff. So there is somewhat of a point to be made that winter is a good season and the cold isn't so bad. Plus, squirrels are not out in winter, which is a big plus in my eyes. I have a completely rational, sorry. Most of the points are cope. Shush. Nonsense. I'm completely 100% accurate. Yeah, summer is the season for like cold drinks and stuff, and cold drinks are strictly squirrels I think they do have fur, but they don't go out during winter that much, or at least aren't nearly as noticeable, which I really like because I have a completely rational and solid phobia of squirrels. That's entirely based in reality and makes complete sense. I like summer because yes, that is one of the points. And I understand it does kind of run counter to my point of people only like winter because of the warm stuff. If I'm saying I like summer because of the cold, but you know, I'm a being of complete logic and everything I say makes sense. So you're all wrong. Summer has mosquito. That's fair. I'm of the opinion that there is no good season. Because winter's too cold. Spring is really when the mosquitoes come out, at least like where I am. And so that sucks. Summer is like, it gets like too hot and stuff sometimes, but mainly it's just more mosquitoes and squirrels and stuff. And then autumn is squirrel season, and so it's inherently the worst. And also when, like, you know, school and university stuff typically start as well, which influenced it. So there is no good season, but warm weather is still better than cold weather. People with money move south during winter, go north during summer. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that seems like such a hassle. And I don't, yeah, I feel like I want, like, personally I want somewhere like the UK where it's just a solid, like, medium rainy throughout the entire year. Just consistency is nice, even though I don't really like rain. But it's better, like, you know, just that consistency of it's not going to be that warm or anything, but it's going to be, like, fairly alright, and so it's, you don't have to worry about the temperature changing too much or anything. Italy is blistering hot during summer. Moving north makes sense for them. Yeah, that's fair. Prefer the weather in the UK. Yeah, I like, and I think as long as it, like, the more consistent things are, the better for me. Even if it's a consistent something I'm not the biggest fan of, like rain, for example. It's more like just the consistency and the, like, it helps build routines and stuff better, which I function a lot better in. So the easier it is to that. Like, if I know the weather's gonna almost always just be like this, I can plan and prepare around that and assume it's gonna be like that a lot easier. Whereas for stuff like today, I got dressed up for a class and was running a bit late, so I had to rush, and I didn't realize it was pouring rain, and I got soaked. Whereas if I were in the UK, I could just safely assume it's gonna be rainy and always just wear like a raincoat and stuff. But yeah, Europe does get really hot sometimes. Like, I was in France, God, it must have been like 2018 or something, during like a heat wave, and it was blistering, because they don't have AC. I don't know, like, they don't have AC for whatever reason. I will never understand why no AC. It just doesn't make sense to me. But, yeah, so we were at like an Airbnb, and it was just completely boiling the entire time. AC bad for the environment or something? Well, okay, hear me out. What if we make a big enough AC that we just control the environment? Problem solved. We will become the environment. What's it gonna do to stop us? Rain? We have umbrellas and shit. It's perfect. Yeah. I mean, I feel like for environmental stuff, there's just so much bigger issues with, like, cars and that kind of thing. And, like, oil and those resources that AC, I don't know, it seems like somewhat insignificant in that regard. Especially when it's such a big quality of life improvement. Just having AC. Hide AC in the basement. Probably, honestly. They certainly don't have it like in the main house. I mean, if they're really so stingy about AC, just like ration it, or just like have like a price tag attached to it, a bigger price tag, or something. I feel like there are ways to get around it without making, like, restricting it to such an extent. Okay, I shouldn't have run that time. I'm gonna get this one of these days. I swear. I was close that time. Boo. Okay, I realized the trick. Oh god. Is there a bench nearby? Oh. The goddamn spikes! It's always the spikes. Bane of my existence. Whoever invented spikes, I need to have a word with them. But yeah, stuff like AC and stuff for like the environmental things, it feels like there are just so much better ways. Like electrical cars and stuff, though those have their own problem because the batteries for electrical cars, I think like lithium batteries and stuff, are really hard to like put out, like fire and stuff, because it's like a chemical reaction. So that's a bit of an issue. But if we can ever like fix that or come up with find better batteries or something, that would be big. And I feel like, you know, then we wouldn't need AC as much. And like, you know, same with like oil tankers and that kind of thing. Like Gary Gygax made up. God, that bastard. He invented the just for them to kill me in Holland. It's betrayal. Absolute betrayal. Okay, that part wasn't actually that bad. Something to roll the dice for that wasn't a combat. Ah, okay, that makes sense actually. Yeah. Cause yeah, I feel like you don't really roll that many saving throws. Well, you roll like sometimes dex, but that's about it outside of combat. Otherwise, it's all like skills and stuff, which is fine. It makes sense. I don't mind that. But like, yeah, you only maybe like a strength save or a constitution. Constitution, like if you get someone poisons you, like then you'd roll it, I guess. But really, other than that, you just don't really roll it much, huh? I hadn't really thought about that. So I'm guessing to get that chest, I have to go like around here. I was fine because, god damn it. Okay, no, that was my fault. A lot of pulp novels like grabbing woman's hand for falling into pit of spikes. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's a good like fear thing because it plays into both like fear of like falling / fear of heights type stuff, and also fear of spikes. Both perfectly rational and like fairly common fear. The goddamn, it's basically large flat spikes. That's what those are, and they're killing me. Yeah. So it's not surprising that spikes got like so popular, and they're a really like nice tool in video games, especially games like this where aren't really fall damage. because they give you a reason for making, like, an excuse to have zones where the player will fall and die as a result. So it makes total sense why they're using stuff. They're so annoying. Wait, my shadow can do like magic stuff now? Huh, is that new? Nyana letting go of the bad woman in movie 3. Nice homage and subversion. Oh, I don't think I've seen that movie, but I do like when they kind of subvert the expectations with that kind of thing. Helps keep like the trope fresh. Because it gets pretty stale if you like just do the same thing. Oh, they're really being annoying with this one. Hey, before I mention anything about deep dive video, yeah, I haven't decided what on. I feel like there's a lot of stuff to do deep dives on. I was thinking like, I mean, my main areas of like knowledge and stuff are like geography, like kind of history, politics, military stuff. So I don't know how much that is a good idea. But like some stuff like geography and stuff maybe, and then also books, stuff I'm thinking would be cool. Seeing Minna's idea for doing like a book stream was pretty inspiring to do something like that, because I think that would be fun. So yeah, that's like kind of what I'm thinking of doing. Something like that I think would be interesting. But the thing about that is I don't know because I want to do a bit more prep for that. Like, get like, I don't know, like some slides and stuff, and like somewhat scripted so that I have a better idea of like what I'm talking about and that kind of thing. So because it requires a bit more prep, and I have like, I'm pretty busy with courses and stuff lately. I'm not sure when exactly it'll happen, but it's definitely like high on my list of things to do with stream and stuff. I just have to figure out a good time. Yeah, it'll probably be after exams. I can maybe fit it in sometime beforehand, but that would be a pretty like a shorter one. Yeah. I was thinking of also just doing like I don't know, just because why not, like a study stream. Because I think that would be, I mean, that's like a pretty easy thing to do. I probably would be outside of like the normal schedule, just because I feel like, because it's not that much effort and isn't really like great content. I don't think like I'd want to keep up 2 good, like decent streams a week, and so it would be like a third or stream. But yeah, so I was thinking of doing that. But I want to set up like that free live 2D model everyone's using, like the black and white one. Kind of customize it a bit beforehand, and I just haven't gone around to doing that. Cause like I feel like at least with like a 2D model, like a model like that, it's a bit better than just a PNG. At least like there's a bit more interaction, I feel like, is why. Cause it feels kind of like cheap. Yeah, like the live 2D. God, I've made it past the hardest part. Why you do this game? Is there... Okay, I can maybe go to the bench down here. But yeah, that would be, yeah, so that's something, I might work on it a bit, like getting it set up and stuff. And once I get it set up, then I can do it pretty easily. It's more just getting the live 2D, like the one that they were customizing and stuff. I have to figure out how to do that. But then what, I just, like, I have like, VTube Studios, and I've done a bit with it before, so I know kind of how to use it, so that's not the issue. But yeah, then I'll probably do a study stream. Either I was thinking of doing it next week, ideally. Maybe the week after is the plan, and that would be, like I said, in addition to like a Hollow Knight stream. Live 2D rig looks complex. Yeah, I think that's I'm very much not like an artistic person. I don't have like any skills or anything in that area, which is why I'm a bit hesitant to try and do that, because I really don't think I'll pick it up that easily. And especially with everything going on, I'm like a bit hesitant to try my hand in it now. Maybe over the summer or something. Once I have a bit more time and stuff, then I'll give it a shot then perhaps. But because like I'm very much not skilled in that type of area, like I've basically zero experience with it or with like anything artistic in general. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the nice thing, part of the goal about getting a job and stuff would be so that I can save some money to commission a model. That would be nice. But again, I'm not, because I'm still just doing this like as a hobby and in my free time, I'm not too rushed. And that, yeah. But I definitely do want to at some point. I just need to find, I need to find, part of the thing about if you're going to commission a model is you have, like, finding someone is not as easy as it looks, especially for male models and stuff. And also as soon as, like, you express any interest in looking, or even anything like that, like, before FlaVR and stuff, I'd made, like, an account just because I was gonna try streaming just for fun, completely on my own, and just like, I don't know, just 'cause I was curious how it was, and stuff, and as soon as I made like a Twitter account, and stuff, immediately the first people I got were like, because it had VT in the name, people were immediately messaging me asking about commissions and stuff, which, I don't know, I think I've mentioned it earlier in a different stream, but it really leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because I don't like saying no to people about stuff, so it's really awkward for me. But I also, like, if someone's gonna go and ask me about a commission, I'm generally just not really that interested in getting it. Yeah, no, I've said no every time. It's just like, I don't know, the conversations and stuff are awkward, and it's just more just like annoying. Remember Piranhas putting VT in the username always seemed weird to me. Yeah, it was that time, I was interested. The reason I put it in the username, which was probably just, which I think in retrospect wasn't a great decision anyways, was I was going to like commission a model and was looking into it and stuff on a different account and stuff, which is why I was surprised when like the people immediately like found me and stuff. Anyways, but yeah, so that's why I added it there, because I did want to do it at some point. Back when it was a bit more naive and stuff about the prices and that kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely am not gonna say yes to any of the people that go into like my DMs and ask me. Uh, yeah, because I just like I don't know, it just feels very weird. Definitely feels like hawkish. Quite the view, no? I'm not surprised you survived the trek through the shimmering caverns. There's an air of strength about you. I suspect it would be quite intimidating if not for your small stature. Yeah, it's also particularly because a lot of them, they start the first messages, like I got enough that I was able to kind of recognize like the patterns and stuff, which was interesting. And I feel bad for like people who are actually like properly starting out who may have gotten that, because it must be like, I can't imagine it, like way more annoying for them, because a lot of it's like also like logo commissions, emotes, and that kind of stuff. So I imagine they still get that even if they have like a model. But yeah, it's like, yeah, vibrant economy for VTubing, even the not even the parasites to be like, that is fair. That is a good point. I hadn't really thought about it like that, but it is like kind of a good sign. Now that you think about it. Yeah, I just like, I don't mind them hawking, and I don't like, because I understand like, it's just a natural thing. But what I find really weird is like they're always like, "Hey, how are you? You seem really nice. Want to hang out or whatever?" And they very much try to like be your friend, be super friendly, and then like the next message after is like, "Hey, do you want to commission something?" And so it's just, I don't know, it feels lazy on their part, to be completely honest. It just, I don't know, like, if you're gonna try to like hustle me or whatever, like, I don't know, just do better, do a good job on it, put in the effort, or I'm certainly not gonna like commission you. That's kind of my weird stance on it. I mean, and it's definitely correlated with like the V-tweeter stuff, and all that kind of thing. Because like a lot of them, I'm not gonna like obviously name any of them because I just don't really care. It's not that big a deal. Uh, but you know, a lot of people will have like uh, pre-debut VT and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, I don't know how long their pre-debut, but I imagine it's a fair bit of time. And I feel like at a certain point, either have like your debut, or at the like with a 2D model, or at the very least do like what I'm doing and what FlaVR's done, which I think is really like one of the best things that come out of FlaVR, is that it's like the use of like PNGs just to get started and stuff uh, is very encouraging, and a nice change, I guess. Kind of lowering the barrier of entry, and I think that's like, I don't know, that's like kind of what AI art is intended for, lowering the barrier of entry, and so I think it's good that it's at least getting like some use and stuff with that, and is fulfilling that purpose. Yeah. Yeah, PNGs are a good starting point. I think I completely agree with that, and I think that it's not and could be recognized more by people. Uh, like I'm not complaining about my situation because again I don't really care, but I feel like, uh, yeah, exactly. It showed people that this is what they could have been doing all along, and I feel like that's a lot better than uh, waiting, uh, and doing like the whole V-tweeter thing, which is what I didn't want to do, and which is why like I tried to start streaming like pretty soon after I made like the Twitter account and stuff, and all that kind of thing, because I didn't want to be just like another V-tweeter or anything, because I don't know, it's especially with what FlaVR shown, it's yeah, you could have just been doing this and that's fine and people will accept that and it's not that big a deal. At least show that like you're doing something and putting in some level of effort. And it's like a perfectly good starting point. And it doesn't have to be like the end point either. Repo. Also, I think one of the best things about it is because with like, especially with like AI or stuff, the barrier for entry, like, which is big, like it's a big equalizer, being like the if PNGs are more like commonly accepted, which I think is like a massive benefit for like the community. Because it's a lot. I mean, even just like for one, allowing more people to give it a shot, and also it allows you to give it a shot without spending too much or anything like that on like a model or anything. So like it lowers both the like barrier to entry of who can do it and also the barrier of entry in terms of cost, because you can give it a shot with a PNG. You can like either draw an image or AI generate it. Yeah, it's been very neat and interesting seeing people make their own live 2D models. Like, yeah, it's very impressive to me, because I'm not artistically talented, so like any stuff in that area, I like bit jealous there. Like, damn, that's super cool. I think that also like helps with kind of showing that it is possible to do it, and like you can both give it a shot and not have it be too expensive. Yeah, which I think is a good thing, because I mean, if there's anything I've known of my time with like EN VTubers, at least, it's scuff is a natural part of VTubing, and so stuff like having like the perfect model or like really good model shouldn't be such a big barrier, because like I don't know, there's nothing wrong with like having like a bit of a scuff model, like live 2D model you made yourself, or just a PNG or whatever. Well, FlaVR is also good with separation of the indie community. It can be a bit toxic at times. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't want to get into like any like drama or any of that stuff, but there definitely is like a lot of toxicity in the space as well. Yeah, like it's not exclusive to indie communities, but they're definitely like noticeable here. I don't like, yeah, like I don't want to get too involved with that kind of stuff, and it's definitely made me a bit more wary about things. Uh, no, I'm not really talking about drama. Really, I'm just talking about why I don't like get too involved. That kind of stuff. Like personally, I don't mind talking about like issues in politics, that kind of stuff. Like I'm studying politics so like it's kind of, I don't know, an area I'm fine with. But I know people don't really like, people don't watch VTubers for that, and so I don't like why it doesn't really. I don't feel like a lot of it needs to be brought into it, especially when a lot of the drama is kind of a bit silly and just like unnecessary. And a lot of it's just because of like bad faith arguments and stuff, which I think is just very disappointing, I guess is the best word for it. Helps Pippa got cancelled, somewhat of resistance as we were born from. Yeah, that's true. That like FlaVR is somewhat resistant to it. I also don't think like, I think it's not that hard as like when you're a bit smaller to avoid it, because it's not like because people just don't care. People go after Pippa because she's like pretty big, like she's quite big. So like, if it wasn't for that, people just wouldn't notice or wouldn't care. And so because FlaVR is not really near that point yet, it's not like an issue. I mean, I imagine like if FlaVR got to like that point, there would be some controversy, particularly about like AI art stuff, because I know that's a big issue among artists, and all that stuff. It does feel like FlaVR is its own island. It's only because it's just starting out. I mean, I don't think like I don't necessarily feel like it's its own island per se, because I know like I think Sena in particular is doing a lot of collabs and stuff, which is really great, and it's really nice seeing like become a bit not mainstream is the wrong word, because we're, you know, like indie and stuff, but I guess a bit more common knowledge through that, and so like I think that's really nice. And so it doesn't necessarily feel like an island to me, because we're starting having to make some connections. They're Pip friends, so that's true. But I feel like a decent amount of people in the like indie VTuber community are gonna be like fine like with Pippa, or like face connect at least, and all that stuff. And so I don't think like, I don't know. I don't know. It's never, FlaVR itself has never really felt like an island to me. I think just because I don't feel like Phase Connect is an island either, and because of that. But I'm also fairly new to Phase Connect. Like ironically, I found out about Phase Connect from FlaVR, because it was in like a VTuber news thing, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So that's like how I learned about it. So I'm fairly new to Pippa. I started watching her like after seeing the VTuber news thing and watching that video, because I'm like, oh, she's interesting. And yeah, so here I am, months later. If anyone is big, they can ignore getting canceled as long as your community is low. Yeah, that's definitely completely accurate. Like, cancellations only hurt if you kind of really give in to them, because generally on the internet, especially if you're a content creator, you will have some amount of loyal fan base. Like, it will just be a number of people that like you regardless, and so if you want to and you continue to try, you could continue basically, like, regardless of what happens. Man, I messed up. I was gonna try and see if I could get across there. Mello could cause a landslide, Celis will be there in chat. Yeah. Cancellation only hurts if the community insider support it, like the fans in Wales. Otherwise, it doesn't matter in most cases. Yeah, pretty much. if the community insider, like I said, if the community insider support it, and if yeah, I also have to catch up with my Celis lore. If and if you don't try and hold on, I think it really, if you like if you give up and you say like I'm just gonna take a break indefinitely or I'm leaving, and if you like don't fight for it, then you'll get canceled. But if you fight for it, you will find people, either keeping people that you had who don't want to leave, or like contrarians, for lack of a better term, who are going to stick with you because of like whatever it is you're canceled for. I think this is like regardless of like any reason for being canceled, except like if it's criminal, maybe, because people are still fans of like serial killers and other criminals, which I just don't understand why serial killers, but I mean, it's kind of proof that you can keep fan base, I guess. Yeah, people who find out about creators because of controversy and like them are people who don't care. Yeah. And there's also like the tiny subset of people who don't who care about the controversy, like to say I disagree with the creator's actions, but are gonna keep watching the creator, like for whatever reason. Like you could, cause it's definitely possible to like dislike a creator and like their work because there's something called separation of the art and the artist and all that kind of stuff. For example, like Lovecraft, I think he's done good, like I think the work he's done with like and basically like inventing like the genre, like Eldritch horror, revolutionizing that, and like Lovecraftian horror and stuff, I think it's pretty impressive. I absolutely hate the guy because he's just, in my eyes, a completely terrible person. But his work is like kind of foundational for a lot of like good works, such as like Call of Cthulhu and that kind of thing. Same with stuff like J.K. Rowling. Like I don't like her, but I also don't hate Harry Potter because it's made by her. I just dislike it for other reasons because I think it's just kind of like not super good, like not a well-written book, like series of books, but it's not nothing to do with like my personal opinions of her. Not Theo made a 10 McClaver talks about the separation between creator and creation. Yeah, I think like I wish people just understood that more. That's my biggest. Yeah, it's not the best fiction. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that it's a like it's incredibly successful, and I don't think it's like it's not the worst book. It's not like awfully written. Like I've read worse. I've read stuff like My Immortal or like that kind of thing, which I think is like actually badly written. I just think that like I don't know. I feel like for an urban fantasy book, I feel like it doesn't really handle the fact that there are people and also wizards and they're like a separate world, but how do people not notice like dragons or like people using magic all the time or whatever? I feel like it handles that poorly. That's like my biggest complaint. But I mean it's a very popular and successful series. I feel like it came along at like a very good time. And it all obviously has appeal, because if it didn't, people wouldn't really be watching it or reading it. So I feel like most of it is like people watching it nowadays. My more is a work of art. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I should not have discredited My Immortal like that. I apologize. The other one I was thinking of, I can't remember the name of it, but I think there was like, uh, Harry Potter fanfic, but it's like set in America, and it's like Christianity and stuff, instead of like wizards and witches. That was a funny read. But it was also, like clearly satirical as well. This is when Cheers is a terrible thing. It's much more likely if you cared about on yourself. God, if I had walked here, like, or I could have been storing Geo so long. I'm dumb. But I would definitely pay. Yes, please. Deposit all. Weird I don't have a map for this area. I feel like it should be part of Queen Station. But yeah, I think it's like I don't like think Harry Potter's a bad book, like objectively bad. It's not for me. I think that there could be improvements. Same thing with Shakespeare. I think it's just overrated basically. Fuck, I didn't realize that if I killed those jellyfish, they drop the thing. Yeah, I think like Shakespeare and stuff, I think, and like Shakespeare's works, I think it's just overrated. Though I think the good thing is, unlike Shakespeare, it's not taught in schools as much, which is fine. Works for me. I think Shakespeare is overly taught, though that's because I also had to learn it, like, I had to learn so much Shakespeare because I did it like every single year in elementary school, high school. So I got like, yeah, so like basically 12 years of Shakespeare with multiple like repeats of like having to go over the same play twice, sometimes even perform the play and that kind of thing. So I just got so sick of doing Shakespeare that, like, I don't know, I just completely soured my opinion on him and led me to think that he's completely and totally overrated, which is my spicy literary hot take. Like, I could acknowledge that he's probably like it's good, but I don't think that I don't think any works, like any series of literature, even my favorites, are worth multiple years like of like reading in school. Like, I think that there are plenty of other good books that you could read, even with like my like more specific knowledge. I think stuff like Agatha Christie, she does very good works on like detective novels and all that stuff. Uh, like books like Andromeda Strain, I think, Jurassic Park, great books that I would highly recommend, and I think definitely are have high enough quality to deserve a spot, like a slot there. And I think like just by having it be exclusively Shakespeare, I don't know, it just kind of like boring, and it turns people away from like English classes and stuff as well, I feel like. And yeah, like Lord of the Rings as well, another great series that I personally love. I think is good. I don't know if I necessarily suggest that it be read in universities, but I think stuff like uh, The Hobbit maybe. And that's basically just me naming like British and American like authors that I know, and I'm sure that there are like hundreds of others who have written good enough works to deserve like that spot that Shakespeare is taking up so much of. That's just my like personal gripe. I also was very funny because I went to like the uh Globe Theater or wherever it's called, I can't remember. When I visited uh like UK with my family and visited family there and stuff. And so one of my like cousins in my extended family was there, and she lives like in like Scotland and stuff. They do not really actually study that. Like she didn't know what the play that we were going to was. She knew like what Shakespeare was obviously, but she didn't know the play. Whereas me and my sister had like read the play like at least twice. We'd studied it in school like twice, performed it, and all that stuff. And so it's kind of it's very weird that in the UK where he's from, it's like the recognition is different. But yeah, man reads books. I do. I haven't lately, and I feel really bad about that because I do like reading a lot. I just find it hard to start things in general, and so I haven't really started reading a book lately. I know if I would, I'd get like sucked in and just probably read like most of it in the night. But yeah, I used to read like a ton. Uh, I used to have a problem where I'd read in class, like during like classes and stuff. And the teachers were not as happy about that. I'd basically like between when they weren't talking or stuff, I'd just pull out like a book or something and just go over that. It was a problem because like for like math and that kind of thing, uh, and just in general, the teachers don't really like it when you're reading in their class and not paying attention to them. Which, you know, fair. I get that. Makes sense. I still want to read though. So yeah, they weren't too pleased about that, and I imagine it made it a bit. Not, I made life not quite as easy with studying and stuff. I imagine, in retrospect. Definitely still worth it though. But yeah, because with like English classes and stuff, it's not that bad because I can just read. I can just read the book that we're supposed to be reading in class. Yeah. Like normally, I was like, I would read if we got like an English book, I would basically read it like, cause we used to have like read up to this chapter in class, and then we'll like talk about it. I'd read that chapter, and then I'd basically just go and continue reading, and then continue for like the rest of the class, basically. Like I'd like uh chime in here or there in the conversation enough to like get the mark. But then I just like basically read half the book by the end of the day. Which was great and all for like getting it done. But then I don't really I sucked at annotating because I didn't annotate while I was reading, and I hate going back and doing things over again like that. So I would just have like no annotations. Which made it not as nice for when I was writing stuff up, or when we were getting marked on our annotations. Made it very annoying. Yeah, piss me out, zone out when you feel I understand topic, forcing me to pay attention when I already get it. Yeah, that's fair. I definitely like will zone out and just not pay attention if I feel like I have a decent enough understanding of the topic. Uh, that or if I get a topic that I'm understand and I feel like I'm interested in, uh, and that there's opportunities like to contribute and stuff, then I'll talk about it and definitely like engage. And for stuff like in the English class and stuff, with like readings and stuff on books, like I would engage and stuff, very easily, like pretty willingly, because I mean I don't know, it wasn't that hard, because a lot of like English stuff is like find the meaning behind this paragraph, and you know you can it's similar with philosophy. You can basically come up with whatever meaning you want if you look hard enough. So it's pretty nice. Once a teacher erased my homework and told me to do it because I did it too fast. I've never had that happen to me. I've done like homework and stuff in class and stuff, but the teachers just didn't really care in my school. Like I had pretty good teachers, all things considered. Like, especially going into university and hearing everyone talk about their, like, high school experiences and stuff. It's been super weird because I'm like, I had like a actually decent experience and didn't mind it. I had like a really shit grade 12, but you know, but besides that, uh, I actually had a good experience, and everyone's like, I had like terrible experience, everything sucked, the teachers were horrible, they hated me and all that stuff. And it's kind of hard to relate to that, which is like, I don't know, it's weird. Very fortunate in that regard, I guess. Consume the howling wraths. Hold up, so I can shoot up, basically. Always got annoyed in English class trying to create symbolic links to written stuff while I was reading to you. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the nice part is like I said with philosophy, you can really, if you're not that engaged, you can just kind of like BS your way through it. Be like, well, you see, it actually talks about like this concept, blah 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 blah. The relationship relates to this, and it's a metaphor for etc. And so it's not that hard. Is that's what I found. Is I just do that, which I enjoyed because it let me come up with like creative ways to do so, and like you know see like I guess how interesting I can make it. But like I don't know, other subjects I've really struggled to pay attention in, like math and that kind of thing. Especially like we had a teacher who like wouldn't let us use the calculator in like grade I guess was it grade 10 or grade 9, something like that, math, which I found annoying because it's like it's not like realistically I'm gonna have a calculator in the real world. Like that's just kind of like we're at a point in like society and stuff where I am that like I don't need to know all of these silly stuff off the top of my head, especially when I'm just not going to use most of it. But like we still wouldn't let us use calculators and all that stuff, which was very annoying. At least we got formula sheets and stuff, which was nice. Yeah, I get why they don't like it, let us use calculators, because like being able to do it by yourself is, I mean, I think there is like a benefit to that, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. It's the same stance I have with like the kind of I don't know how to like it's the method of uh like improving like behavior and stuff, at least for ADHD, of like uh you reward yourself after and like set rewards and stuff, which just I just don't really find it work because like I could just figure this out or like get the reward myself beforehand. I'm the one setting the rules, it doesn't really matter. But and so it's like the same thing where like I could just use a calculator, I don't need to do it. It seems like unnecessary. Getting into college, teacher telling us we can use calculators made me want to hug her. Yeah, that must be nice. I have not done a university math course. I might do like an economics course or something next year. I think that'd be interesting. Uh, but generally, probably gonna stay away from math. Some English teacher got mad at me after I wrote Katniss was obedient for doing everything Haymitch told her to. Well, Peter was the real rebel who thought for himself and made unexpected moves. I hadn't considered that, but that's an interesting point. Yeah, I'd have to like, like reread and stuff, Hunger Games and that stuff. But I mean, like the logic makes sense behind that. I just can't think of like all the specific example off the top of my head. But yeah, I don't get, like, getting mad at people for, like, that kind of stuff. I just don't get either. Because, like, part of, like, the reading and stuff is, like, if there were one set answer for stuff in English, we would not be writing essays, we would be writing, like, multiple choice, or fill in the blanks, or, like, true, false, yes, no. Like, so it doesn't, I don't really get why people get upset when you, like, have a different conclusion in, like, particularly, like, in English classes and stuff, or just humanities in general, than, like, what is typically expected. Because the whole point of doing, like, the project or whatever the assignment is to have your own, like, conclusion and your analysis. They haters, yeah. True that. They just can't handle my truth. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not like the end of the world, like, that kind of my feelings on that, but and I feel like it's definitely gets easier in university, uh, at least so far. So that is a benefit, I think, where I don't, like, it's not as, you get a lot more freedom, at least in humanities, on what I can write about, and well, not what I can write about, sorry, like, we get a bit more on what we can write about, but about what you can say in the essay itself. Yeah, as long as there's an argument, you shouldn't punish it. I think, like, as long as there is not, like, I think generally, unless the argument is in bad faith and, like, intended to be, like, I don't know, the kid's just trying to be annoying little shit or whatever, then I think, like, there's an argument made about punishing it, but I think otherwise, like, it's not a big deal, nothing to, for, certainly not for a teacher. I would hope they wouldn't get too worked up or anything about it. Especially something that is subjective and not factual. Like, you know, like humanities and stuff, they're inherently not always entirely factual subjects. They're, like, you know, subjective and opinion based on occasion. Arguably, like, in majority of cases, and so it doesn't make sense to get. Yeah, kids have bad takes though. They did the essay, leave them out. I think that's fair. I think, like, when I say, like, bad faith argument, I think it's got, like, it would be something particularly egregious in my eye, like something, like, they'd have to the point where it's not just a bad take, but, like, they're actively doing it to, like, upset people and get, like, a reaction. Then I think it's not unreasonable for the teacher to react, because, like, if they're being antagonistic, then I would hope the teacher would react, like, better. But it's like, you can't necessarily blame the person for reacting if someone's provoking a reaction, if that makes sense. But I feel like, regardless, and certainly if they're not trying to be provoking a reaction, it's a lot better just to, like, discuss it than to argue with them or, like, get angry and upset. Definitely better to discuss than to get angry and upset. Where was I going? Am I dumb? Yes. Teacher's the only position open to women who want to work, so they got smart, ambitious women in the past, but now it's Bartender the FlaVR. Only ambitious women are biz. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't think that I don't think it's like necessarily. I mean, I don't think it's like a gender thing with teachers and stuff. Because I've had also like plenty of male teachers and stuff, uh, and probably overall worse experiences with those. So I don't like, yeah. I mean, because I mean, I guess there's the same thing of all the ambitious men are in business. I think if you were to say it's people, then it might make sense. But I don't think it's like exclusively uh like a woman or man thing. Arguing is fine if you allow the other party to argue your point back. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Yeah, I think that like, arguing. I don't have a problem with arguing as long as you're like allowed to, both parties are allowed to make their point and they're generally respectful and stuff of each other. I feel like there's a difference between arguing and being antagonistic in my eyes. Like, arguing is like a step above debate in terms of like, I guess, antagonism and like it's a bit more heated and stuff, and I think that's fine. But if you're like to the point where we're actively like getting angry at people and stuff, then it's a lot. I don't think that should be like encouraged. I think more like, ideally everything would just be like reasonable discussions and debates. But in a non-ideal world, arguing is fine as long as it's like respectful to a point, at least, in my eyes. One of my teachers was sad as news class assumers refused to argue about anything, and accepted things without question. Yeah, I think I would be sad about that too. Like, part of what school is about is, at least in my eyes, is like just critical thinking. And just because something isn't wrong, or is factual, doesn't mean you can't think critically about it, question why it's factual or why it's correct, and then learn why it's correct, why it's factual, and like, I think that's a good way of learning things, is you go like say, why is the sky blue? I determine that the sky is blue by looking at the sky. I ask other people, they say the sky is blue, so I have confirmation. I learn about why the sky is blue, answers my question, and like that, and I've learned from there. And so I think you can kind of apply it similarly, where like, I think this thing, I look at this thing and it turns out maybe it's incorrect, and I learn from that. And I think it's fine to like learn from that. And even if you're looking at something that is correct, you're still, by going through the process of learning why it's correct, you're still learning. And I think that that should be encouraged. I had a few teachers who would question your class decisions even if the answer was right. Is training for standing up to... Yeah, that's I think a good thing. People are becoming very cautious about stepping on boundaries these days. Joy back and forth. People misconstrue. Yeah, I think that is something I've noticed as well. Yeah, I mean, I definitely know that I try to be very like careful about like how I approach things and stuff, just in general, because I don't want to like really offend people, as never my intent. But I also like, I don't know. I feel like I feel that it shouldn't be taken. Things shouldn't be taken quite as seriously, because I think at the end of the day, most people are like generally reasonable and like support, or like are generally reasonable and at the very least neutral to supportive of most like things that I would consider like good and that they should be supportive of. And so yeah, like, so I think there's no need to be like antagonistic and like creating conflict or anything about it.
Whereas that's not helpful, because all that does is really just alienate people. Zoomers can record each other. I was saying no things in HD on the phone, so everyone please themselves, safe for the base. Just don't care. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's not, personally, I don't know, like, yeah, there are, okay, I'm not trying to say that there aren't a lot of crazy, insane people out there. I think the internet has certainly not helped in that regard. And I would be a fool to acknowledge uh, that they don't exist. But I do think that the general majority of people, frankly, just don't really care about like most things. They just want to live their day-to-day life. If it impacts their day-to-day life, then they'll care. Otherwise, it's not a big issue for them, and it's not super important, which I think is a fine way of approaching things. I personally am really interested in foreign policy and all that stuff, but and so I want to learn about that and I want to work there, so it makes sense that I would want to know more about that. But I don't expect anyone else to have a strong understanding of that because it doesn't really matter to them. It's not super important to them unless they're actively like involved with it. And so I think most people would at the very least just kind of be like, if you say like, I don't want to, I'm trying to avoid naming any specific issues because I don't want to like, I don't know, I just don't want to get like involved with anything like that, like any naming anything, because that, I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't lead to anything good if you just specifically name everything. But like most people have like I said, a neutral to positive just opinion of those type of things, of of things in general, that they don't like. Hating something or disliking something, I feel like is not, it's not like a simple or easy thing to do. Like it's not like a natural state of like, this thing, I don't know what this thing is, I don't understand it, I'm just gonna dislike it or hate it and immediately. I think people would just not really care, or if they think, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, then that's about it. Like, and I think that that applies to pretty much every topic, like, and to pretty much everyone to some extent. Like for me, sports, I don't really care about sports. Shocking, I know. What a twist. Uh, it's cool and all. My family is involved, uh, like sports and is much more interested in that. But personally, I just have a very neutral, like, it's fine, it's cool, people enjoy it, so that's like good for them. But it's not like, I don't know, it doesn't, and even that's something that affects me a bit because my family's involved in it. But I'm able to just completely ignore it and it doesn't matter to me, and like just have it not be a big part of my life. And so I feel like if more people were to acknowledge that they don't have to be involved, people claim not to care often scare teams. People are afraid of what they don't understand. Yes, but there's a difference between understanding something and it being involved or being important to you. Like I said, I understand sports. I understand how sports work. I know like the rules and stuff. I can understand why people like it and all that. But but I don't have to dislike it. I'm not scared of sports because I understand it. And because like I understand it, because it's not like the fear of the unknown is a definite, real, and present concern. It's why stuff like Lovecraft's works are really like generally hit hard, like Eldritch horror. It's why like people are afraid of the dark, and stuff, like caves, bottom of the ocean. It's the fear of we don't know what's down there. We don't like space, and so I think, but if you teach people about that stuff in like a neutral way, if you just like, as like kind of like it sounds like like if you educate people, I don't like that because it makes it sound like people like the people who don't yet aren't educated, which I think is I don't know, it just sounds a bit weird. But like if you just show people or explain it to people in like an easy or like or in a digestible manner, in a manner they can understand. If it stopped being unknown to them, I think people just would be neutral on it. I think they're only really afraid of it because it's new, because they don't understand it, because it's an unknown. And so I think that is the issue, and I don't think that most issues, like for example climate change or whatever, I guess if I'm going to start name stuff, they haven't really done a good job making messages like that digestible and understandable to like the common people, so it hasn't really been like, yeah, it hasn't really worked because of that, because you also get the subsects of people who just want yeah, climate advertising is very if someone's already programmed, it's very hard to give them contradictory information. That's fair. And that's why you need to teach critical thinking and stuff more. But I don't think it's necessarily... I do think a lot of it is still just a lack of understanding about the issue or about the thing that they're afraid of or have like a negative opinion of, and not because they've been necessarily programmed. I think there are certainly groups and stuff programmed about certain issues and all that kind of thing. But I don't think it's necessarily like hard. I don't think it does like convincing people or like success on these issues doesn't happen because people are programmed. I think it's because people aren't doing a good job of explaining explaining the issue or explaining whatever it is to the other person, and so that information's kind of just being lost in the process, and because that's not working, then that's the problem. I mean, I think like the farther you get, if you're like on a yeah, exactly. That's why I don't like the hard support groups try to educate people talking to. Yeah, that's why I don't like that. I don't really like the term educate, because it makes it sound like it's the implication could be that the other person is uneducated, which, while technically correct about the specific issue, in general as like a marketing term, I feel like it is just a net negative. Like it just doesn't it makes it sound a lot worse than it is. I don't know what term should be used, but I do know that doing it sounding like it seems like it's talking down in my in my perception. Yeah. Oh yeah, don't agree with that. That's fine. I mean, this is just like kind of my opinion, as like a very much like a centrist on type of things. Educated, non-educated dichotomy is very antagonistic and arrogant. Yeah, especially like in my experience, on like the more educated things, yeah, it's definitely there is a superiority complex among the educated. Like myself included, I've been guilty of this as well. I won't like deny that. And I think that if the people like the educators don't recognize that and don't work to remedy that, then it's not gonna solve itself. I don't think the non-educated are not at fault for the dichotomy. It's the educated not doing a good job of bridging that gap. And I think, in my eyes, the ideal way is just better education overall, so that there's less of a gap. But I understand, like, realistically, that can be difficult to implement, and it doesn't work for everyone. Yeah, superior complex in many activist nonprofit. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you people like yeah, because the spirit of complex causes it to be difficult to explain the issue to other people, and because people are then resilient to, if people are going to be naturally resilient if you're speaking down to them, and that is like doubly so if it's something that they're like unfamiliar with, or like they don't know about, because there's the fear of the unknown. And so like that combination of the two just makes that type of thing like very ineffective. And so if they were like I feel like if they were actually seeking success in those areas, they would focus on presenting themselves in a like presenting themselves better and negating that issues, rather than like throwing money at the problem, throwing like focus less on the overall quantity of like message and more on quality of like a precise, easy to understand, fairly simple, digestible message that people can like, that doesn't come off as like we know better than you and that's why you have to do this, because people don't like that, which is fair. I wouldn't like that if people told me that. Like regardless of whether it's correct or not, people just aren't gonna like that. Yeah. And yeah, and like I'm not eating bugs and stuff. Yeah, for like eating bugs and stuff, that's something that, especially for me, I don't know, I don't want to eat bugs either. It's like that's an area where it's not like I don't know, it's not a digestible, like I don't know, it's like it does cause a bit of a barrier because I don't want to eat bugs. And so if the main marketing is going to be like, well, we can eat bugs instead, that's not gonna like go as well with me, because I'm not interested in that, and I want to avoid that if possible. So when you tie a cause to like a solution like that, which is not as broad, then it comes with the problem of you're alienating people who may not disagree with the cause that you are supporting, but they disagree with the solution that you are supporting, if that makes sense. Honestly, if a NASA speaker limited many skeptics or potential scientists who share scientist curiosity, scientific community is hostile to them, so they rebel. Yeah, that completely makes sense. People haven't been pushing for the bug die that hard. This was just kind of like an example, based off of what was happening. I don't like, at least not where I am. Like, to be honest, I haven't, yeah, like it hasn't reached veganism levels or anything, and even, where I am, like, veganism and stuff hasn't been such a big thing. And the thing is also, it wouldn't be that big an issue if they just did it and didn't make such a big fuss about it. Like, if people didn't know what was, like, really, because most people aren't going to read the labels of, like, what's in chips or whatever. So if you don't really market them as this type of chips, like bug chips or whatever, people aren't really going to care. I don't know if there's, like, I imagine there might be some, like, legal stuff, in which case that could be why. But, like, I don't know, I feel like if you don't, like, by going it, like, pushing the Beyond Meat stuff, yeah, that's been pushed. I don't really have a big problem with that. Like, the legally acceptable amount of cockroach in chocolate is 6%. Already eating, yeah. I mean, yeah, like, I don't know, like, the veracity of that, but if that's the case, I mean, I don't really care. I don't know, it feels a bit weird knowing that, but I wouldn't have known if you hadn't told me, and I probably will still continue to eat chocolate. It's not like that big a deal. But if you tried to give me a cockroach to eat, or something, even something that you said going into it was 6% cockroach, I probably wouldn't eat it. It's different for accidental bugs in food versus deliberate bugs. I don't agree. I think it's different if it's marketed as bugs. Like, I don't know what the hell like is actually in a burger. I don't know if it's actually like beef or if it's some other meat. I don't really care in the grand scheme of things. I just don't really want to know that it isn't if it isn't. And so I think that's like same thing with bugs. If they made a bug burger, that's cool. Just don't tell me it's made of bugs and I'll probably eat it. But if you tell me it's made of bugs, I'm going to be a lot less likely to eat it because, ew, it's made of bugs. Like, like, I don't normally just agree with the whole ignorance is bliss, like, stance, but there is, like, some merit to that in situations like this. Which I think, yeah, it's because people don't, like, they don't necessarily disagree with the entire, message, but they don't, like, they disagree with how it's being marketed. Buddhists and Hindus lobbies supported vegetarian avenues to alternative food, but they see bugs as sit. Yeah, okay, that would explain why there's less, support for bug food. That's interesting, because, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. You know, the lobbies and stuff are, like, larger power behind a lot of, like, the decision making in politics, particularly, like, in America. But yeah, like, even if we're talking about, like, veganism and stuff, I think people generally are in favor of, like, decent conditions for the animals in, like, farms and stuff. Like, I mean, I know, like, I don't really want, you know, the animals to be mistreated. I think that's a fair stance of wanting them not to be mistreated. And if that was the argument, like, I would agree with it. But if you're trying to, like, aggressively market it and connect it with other methods and stuff, and then that's where you start losing people. I mean, it makes sense because, like, the more specific you get on an issue, the more niche it becomes. But it's just interesting that people haven't really seemed to learn that. At least, like, activists and stuff. And so they still continue on making, like, niche, like, groups and stuff, if that makes sense. It's just, like, as kind of like an outside observer for a lot of these type of things, because I generally, like I said, sit more in the middle. It's very frustrating to see, like, how generally people will agree on an issue, but no one is willing to, like, compromise or budge, and they end up not being able to solve it. Another point is some non-profits have huge billion-dollar budgets. They never get punished for failing since they have... Yeah. I mean, yeah. Non-profit is... Ironically, despite the name, non-profit is just pay to win. Yeah. And there's smaller groups, no management. Yeah, blah. Yeah, that's... I mean... Yeah, it's not unexpected. Like, and the more organized you are and larger the organization, the more bigger budget and the more effective you're gonna be able to do things. Yeah, think about compromise, that if you always compromise, so the other side always pushes, you lose. That is completely fair. But I don't think the solution, I don't know. There is no good solution to that. That is, like, one of the fundamental human problems in, like, society, is that no one wants to be the one who stops pushing. And so what usually happens is, eventually, some people have to stop pushing. At least the people in government. One side has, like, say for example, in a two-state or system, uh, like a two-party system, then one side's gonna stop pushing, because they're forced to, because the circumstances occur that you just have to make a decision, and then no one's happy with the result because no one if people were more, I think, if just in general everyone, I'm not trying to be specific to like the right left sides of politics, like just in general. Yeah, this one part, like, yeah, I know, like, the whole, like, the one party argument and stuff. There is some weight to, like, there being one party in places like the US and stuff. I don't really want to get too far into it at the moment. But I do think that, like, that is the inherent problem, is people are not willing to compromise. But it's not a universal. It's not a universal problem to, like, one set of people. It's a universal problem to for everyone, and caused by everyone. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine talking politics on my personal time and stuff. I'm just a bit more cautious about it, doing it like uh, on like a stream and that kind of thing, just because like that's my, like, I guess personal, like, I don't know. I just try and be cautious about that kind of stuff. Same. But I'm generally, like, very happy talking politics, and I really enjoy talking about it. But I know, one, it's not always the best thing, particularly in streams and stuff people go to escape. I mean, in the future, what I'd probably want to do, once I, like, get better at doing just chatting and stuff, I'm definitely not opposed to doing, like, deep dive type stuff on like or just more chatting on like this kind of thing. But yeah, but I'm willing, like, to talking about like politics or whatever, but for like a stream like that, I'd probably want it to be labeled as such, just because I think that's, I don't know, it seems like the best solution for me, because I know a lot of people go to streams as an escape and that kind of thing, and to not talk about that kind of issue. Phase management, compromise now often, 10 recommended movie nights, wanted to one a month, community had an outcry, made it 2 a month, used to be once a week. I mean, that seems like a decent example of like compromise, like, I mean, because as much as I'm sure once a week is nice for the community stuff, there is, I imagine for movies and stuff, yeah. Because for like rights and that kind of thing, because I imagine like phase, I don't know, like at what point as a streamer or like organization you have to start getting really concerned about that kind of stuff, but I imagine they're, if not already at that point, pretty close. That's the thing, you make a big ass, then it gets haggled, compromised to where the other side loses. Yeah. I think that, I feel like once a week is, on the flip side, a decent ask as well, especially if they have to negotiate about rights or any kind of stuff, because then that would be like, I think so. In that case, I feel like twice a week seems good, but I see your point, and I think that that is something that should be considered. So, no idea if it's real compromise, so that tend to go along. Yeah, I mean, you just never know there. There isn't really way to know for sure. So I don't think it really helps to be like super speculative on it necessarily. Like, there's nothing wrong with speculating on it, but it's not like we're gonna figure it out by speculating. Tell them to get the movie themselves at home legally. Yeah, that's true. Problem with Discord is that there's no Discord super chats, even though there's Discord theater for podcast streaming, so it's a huge money loss and a place for yabs. Yeah, I imagine it could be like, if I were a company, the thing I'd most be concerned about in that regard is probably like yabs and stuff. So I imagine that they probably, or at least like that's present in their mind. But yeah, the money loss as well is also an issue for them, I imagine. Damn, I actually added you. Venture out of Rook. I'm on the Face Connect server, not on this, but account. But I haven't actually been active, so I'm curious like how active they actually are. It sounds like at least Tenma is if she's doing the like watch-alongs more frequently and stuff. So it's nice to see them be like more active and stuff. Because I feel like, that's something you don't really get as much in like other companies. Like Hololive, Nijisanji, etc. Though again, I'm still like fairly new to the whole VTuber scene. Like, I first started watching year and a half ago, roughly. So, still kind of a newbie. And only relatively recently expanded out of like, just, sorry, where was going at? Yeah, I'm definitely pretty new and so don't have a lot of experience. And I was only watching Hololive for a decent amount of that as well. So, I don't always know like what's generally considered standard or like best practice type stuff. Definitely would get harder with a larger community. Yeah, I don't blame like the streamers or anything for not interacting with people on like Discord or anything. I mean, it's definitely like dumb to blame people for not interacting. I think like there's a certain expectation of interaction, as in they're gonna stream, but beyond that, I don't think that there should be any expectation. Like it's nice if they do, but it shouldn't. Yeah, like they shouldn't have to, and it's can be a problem because of like that false expectation and people getting entitled. Yeah, there's an element of. Oh yeah, yeah, people should not. I think like especially people shouldn't be entitled to anyone's time in the first place, and people especially shouldn't think that because this person does it, they're entitled to someone else's. Yeah, like I think one of the best parts of like VTuber stuff is that you can have like individualism and stuff, and I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to just try and group people into like, or say because this person does this, you have to do it as well. and stuff. It just, I don't know, it seems very ridiculous. Like, just be appreciative of how things are, and just don't be, like, desperate. I guess, I don't know how to say that better. That's kind of my stance on it. Like, you're enjoying this, watching the streamer. That enjoyment isn't going to go down because they don't interact with you on Discord. It's not going to go up as much as if they were, but they also have other things to do. They also have a life, and it doesn't make sense that they need to. And so, if you're already enjoying yourself, just be content with how things are. Thousand people, there are going to be people like, yeah, law of averages, definitely. Fans would Sundaria dissolved few phase community fans when Sundaria annoyed everyone. Yeah, that just seems, that's just very disrespectful in my eye. Like, yeah, I'd be very like frustrated if I were like a Sundaria member, and that was that. Like, I don't know, I feel like there's a base level of like common courtesy and respect that should be expected, and that does not meet that in my eyes. Because if they are poached, you'll probably find out, frankly, and so you don't really need to ask. So why are you asking? To be annoying. That's my general like view. Like, if you care enough, you will find out, and so the only reason to go into the Discord, ask them directly on a public, like a fairly public platform, is just to like be disrespectful and be annoying. Yeah, people have so socially oblivious to act like that, but it's the internet. It's just it is just the, yeah. I'm saying like disrespectful, and it's a lot of it comes from a place of complete like the socially oblivious. Like, and I don't necessarily fault people for being socially inept. I can be upset at them for their actions, and like, I think they shouldn't have done that. I think that they should learn and like evolve from that. But it's not entirely their fault. It's a complicated issue of like just social ineptitude versus like maliciousness versus just being just dumb. Because I don't think there's any benefit to being just like extra critical of people because you think they're dumb. Like, it's not a good thing. It just goes back to the same thing of like the superiority complex. Because like, generally speaking, everyone, at least my view is, everyone has their own area of like knowledge. Dealing with autism, sometimes little children is challenging. Yeah, that is completely fair. And I think, yeah. Oh yeah, there's no harm in accurately identifying what would do dumb things. Yeah, I think I don't think you can criticize people for doing dumb things, but I don't think criticizing people for being dumb, I think, is not like a bit different because I think, like I said, everyone has their own area where they're good at generally. It's not gonna be. It may be like particularly niche. Like for me, I really like and I'm interested and have learned a lot about like naval history. Is that applicable to just about anything in daily life or life in general? No, not at all. Uh, has it like the time I spent learning about that probably means I'm not as knowledgeable in other areas? Yes, but that doesn't mean like no one's necessarily dumb for not knowing about like a certain area. They're dumb for like how they present such knowledge and how they act. And so you can be upset at how they act, but you shouldn't be upset on like lack of knowledge or like social ineptitude. Yo, can we have your Oshi? I don't know who my Oshi is. Because like I said, I've bounced around a bit because I started with Hololive. I started with Hololive ID, ironically, because I started with Risu. Hololive ID is how I first got introduced to VTubers. Like I was aware, like tangentially, about like Gargura existing, because like pretty popular streamer and stuff. But I'd really not been too interested or like curious about that field, at all. And then so I was introduced to Risu, which, given my fear of squirrels and the fact that I do not understand, speak right of, uh, I don't understand or speak or write or read any Indonesian, is kind of amusing to me that she was the first person that I was introduced to. And so Hollow ID and like all the people and stuff in there have a special, it's like a special place in my heart because it's kind of like they're my first introduction to VTubers. I still really enjoy watching clips and stuff of them. I don't catch streams as much because time zones and all that, but it is like all of the members there I all really like. So they're definitely like I guess my favorite like subjection probably. And then I branched out into more Hololive English, like was a kind of natural extension of that because, I'm an English speaker, and they're also on Hololive, so it just kind of worked. And so I started watching, particularly Council. Uh, I came after both Council and Myth debuts, so like I wasn't there for any like debuts really, but uh, I did. So I started watching Council. Eventually, about like a few months in, a surprisingly long time, I started watching more like Niji Sanji. Uh, it was before Kobo debuted, but only I think it was basically a year ago, like October, a year ago November, something around then. I feel like maybe at the very earliest, like a year ago last summer. So I was there for the JP Hololive JP Gen 6. I was there for Hololive uh, ID Gen 3, but I wasn't there for like any of the like those were the first gens that I was there for. Uh, yeah. So that's kind of where I had started, I think. And so I went from Hololive to watching more Niji Sanji and stuff, just kind of like, I guess, over time, I saw some clips and stuff. I was like, cool, they seem interesting. More VTubers is always good. So I watched them for a while. And then I started watching, then I learned about FlaVR and Phase Connect and stuff, so started watching, like, more of, like, Pippa and that kind of stuff. And now I kind of just watch clips all over. Uh, and I don't catch streams too much because my attention span and stuff, I don't know, like, watching full streams, I get distracted way too easily. Uh, but I do try and watch, like, a lot of clips and all that kind of thing. I guess who my Oshi would be that is still really tough. Uh, maybe Ollie. I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like Ollie's a good choice. Aya, Aya Amare, um, from Niji Sanji, uh, Iluna. I really like her because she's the like she likes D&D and stuff. And uh, if you want to be my Oshi, you can do basically two things. If you like D&D or you like Titanfall 2, or like either of those, instantly Oshi material right there. That's like boom, automatic, skip the line. So anyone who's done like a Titanfall stream or who has like played D&D or likes D&D a lot, uh, is definitely up there for me. Uh, yeah, I am Mara's a dork, and so am I. So, well, that's probably why I think like I enjoy watching her, because I'm also very much a dork. And then more recently would probably be like, I don't know, I've watched Pippa a lot more recently. Uh, so she would definitely be up there as well. But yeah, there's a lot of I definitely don't have like one Oshi. And I like if you were to ask me to pick just one, I don't know who I would pick. Yeah. If you like D&D content, you might enjoy Reza Alvin Luna, Amni GXID. He's male. I don't really care like the gender, to be honest. Uh, like that's like doesn't really matter to me. The reason like I just have trouble getting into streams and like streamers and stuff in general is just my trouble focusing on streams themselves, not like necessarily like the gender of the person. But I do understand like for a lot of people it is like a big factor. Not unsurprisingly either. But yeah, cause like I was before Tempest in Hololive, so I don't know. Because I didn't have like when I was really getting into it, they weren't there. I feel like I didn't click as much then. And then while I did start watching Niji Sanji after like the male and stuff at debut, I don't know. Like a lot of it's like boyfriend experience stuff, and I don't know. I mean, I'm just not that interested in that kind of thing. Like neither that nor really like girlfriend experience type stuff either. And so like I didn't end up watching them either. Though I like their clips and stuff, and I watch clips of everyone. But I haven't watched any of their streams like fully or anything. If I ever do boyfriend experience, please shoot me. Just get it. Just make the pain stop if I do that. I mean, the thing about like ASMR and stuff, I just don't think I could. Like, I legitimately just don't think I have the focus and self-control to maintain like ASMR or like whispering, all that stuff, focus on doing that. I just think I would just end up talking or getting distracted. And so I don't like, that's why I don't have any intention of doing like ASMR stuff, is I just don't think I really could. I just like, yeah. And so if you want like the weird hyperfixation boyfriend experience, then I guess I could do that. But it can be sounds, just it's not talking. Yeah, no, I get that. I just don't. I think I would just end up like accidentally talking, or like, and yeah, like just making too loud sounds and stuff, and not being able to focus on doing it properly to give a good experience. Uh, a normal chatting stream on Valentine's Day where you show merch at the end. Uh, I don't see myself doing it. I don't want to like show merch really if I don't have to. Because again, for one, I just don't think streams that I do are gonna be of like a quality where people should get merch. And so if I don't think that people should get merch, then why would I try and sell it to them? It's very hypocritical and like in a way disrespectful, I feel like, if I were to try to like sell people on something that I don't think like I don't think I'm worthy of. Yeah. No, I'm not saying I feel like I'm making it sound like I'm too self-loathing in this stuff. I just don't think that I'm like fine. I don't like hate what I'm doing. I'm sure I'm probably doing it decently. I just don't think that there's a difference between people watching and like enjoying and stuff and people spending money. And I don't want people to feel like they should spend money or that they have to or anything like that. That's just kind of my like stance, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I did a shit job of explaining that. Yeah, it's a long way off, and yeah, who knows? Yeah, I mean, I can't see doing this like not as a hobby, so I don't really have to worry about it if it's just a hobby, which is nice. Yeah. Like, I mean, even if I, like, to get to, there's just way too much to get to that point anyways. Like, both time and just everything else. And there isn't really, like, I mean, if I were to be, like, shilling merch and stuff, cool, I'd be making more money or whatever. But it's not like, I'm well enough off with my family and stuff. I'm in fortunate enough in a position where I don't need to do that at the moment or anything. And if I can get a job, of course, that makes things even easier where I definitely don't need to do that. And so the extra money would be nice and all, but I feel like everyone else would need it like just as much as I do. So, doesn't really matter. I can just continue doing this for fun. Hi Sena, nice of you to show up. We're just talking about, I guess we were just talking a bit about like the future and stuff. Because they talked about like Valentine's and like merch, and if I'd ever do like a Valentine's stream shilling merch. And I was talking about like, I don't know, I'm not really interested in doing merch and that kind of stuff, or like, I guess taking this too seriously. Oh yeah, also yeah, big congrats on the Baldo sponsor. You're really a flavor pioneer there. Do a wine tasting stream? I could. I don't really like wine, to be honest. I've had it a bit. It's so sour and like weird. I don't get like I much prefer sweeter drinks, like ciders and stuff. Much better. But I could definitely do a wine tasting stream. I could do a beer tasting stream. I have some alcohol on me. I don't have a lot of variety though. What's about it? New merch? Yeah, it is very new merch. You gonna kiss the homies goodnight for the Valentine's stream? Well, if I do a Valentine's Day stream, of course I'm gonna kiss the homies good. I gotta. Like, I feel like you can't do a Valentine's Day stream and not kiss the homies goodnight. That's like, it's like a given. I'm gonna have to search up Mennonite after. Yeah, not real merch, sure. It's not real until someone makes it real. Crazier things have happened. I don't like this place. Is all the spiders and stuff. It's gross. It feels like in Australia all over again. But yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know where I was going. I could wine tasting and stream and stuff. I have considered doing. I just have to get some wine and stuff. And also like I'd have to get something that to drink. Like I don't know, as a cleanser or whatever, because I just don't really like wine as a drink. If there's sweet wines and stuff, I haven't tried too much wine. Mainly I've stuck with like ciders and stuff and beers, cocktails and that kind of thing. But I'm not against doing like alcohol streams or anything. Even though I think technically it's not that great with like ADHD meds or whatever, but who cares? I can drink anyways. Nonsense. This is new. Oh, it really does follow me. Oh. Coca-Cola is the palate cleanser Pippa approved. I probably would just use a soda or something. Like, maybe like a root beer or I don't know, just like a soda that I like. Another soda I like. But yeah, I also definitely... Like, I have alcohol and stuff, so doing a drinking stream would not be that inconvenient. I have actually a lot of alcohol. I have 30 unopened Bud Lights. I know it's not because my friends at university, surprise surprise, I'm a nerd, so I made friends with also nerds, and they're even less interested in like parties and stuff than I am. So I got like some stuff if we were to ever do like a party or whatever, but then no one really wants to do a party with drinking. And so I just have had like 30 beers in my room for I don't even know how long. It's at least like 4 months. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out a way to like get rid of them, but I haven't thought of anything yet. Because I really don't need that much alcohol. Nerd and flavor? No way, yeah. I'm just so special and unique, you know? You all wish you could be me. Alcohol is great, but coffee is better. I haven't tried that much coffee and stuff. I don't really like hot drinks. That much. I much prefer like cold drinks. And so I haven't really liked coffee and like tea initially. Though I'm definitely not against it. Like, it's probably not the best with like, because it's a stimulant and caffeine. I already probably have a caffeine addiction as is. I don't know if adding another type of beverage to that is the best idea. But I only will know if I find out. So yeah. Well, okay, no, I'm not a winter enjoyer. I do like the cold, but I'm not a winter enjoyer. I want to make that clear. I'm separating I'm just so unique, you know? I'm not a winter enjoyer. I like warm weather, but I don't like warm drinks. Winter is bad. Yeah, shoveling. Winter is bad, not because like some of the stuff's fun. There's a lot of fun things happen in winter, but it just doesn't outweigh all of like the snow shoveling. Like snow is great until you realize you have to shovel it. The cold is great like until you start like shivering. So like yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with winter. I mean, to be fair, there isn't really a good season, I guess. Like I think I mentioned earlier in the stream, like autumn has squirrels. Yeah, I mean fall would be good if not for the squirrels, I guess. So I guess it's theoretically the best for everyone, like overall the best for people. But also there are squirrels, so gross. Bad season. Squirrels are terrible. Greeny tiny creature. You got the look of an adventurer, alright. I'll call myself the same, but this dreadful place makes me feel inadequate. African continent's wet and dry seasons. I feel like I'd probably like the wet season more, because I don't mind rain. Though floods and stuff, you know, I don't support. Like that wouldn't be great. I think I'd rather drown in a flood than die in a desert if I had to choose. Also, remember that squirrels are not cute. That is a lie. You've been programmed to think that, actually. That's how they get you. It's like cats, except cats are also kind of cute. Yeah, it's like the whole cat thing where they, like, there's the, what is it? Like, a parasite or, like, some kind of, infection or something that makes it so you like cats and stuff more. But you see, that's different from squirrels, because squirrels are also, yeah, toxoplasmosis, yeah. But cats are still cool. It's just squirrels that are bad. It's because I'm Canadian that I think if I were to just... It's because of where I am and stuff that I dislike squirrels so much, I think. Because the squirrels around where I am are just nasty, like, mangy. They look like... They look very diseased and, like, aggressive, and they just do not care about people. Which is why I don't really like them. Yeah, they're calling them tree rats is an insult to rats, because rats are cool. Rats are at least, like, cool. Do I feel weird watching Reach this girl? Briefly, but I got over it pretty quickly, because it's not, like I said, the big thing is with, I guess just how the squirrels around where I live, like, look and stuff and act. Like, I don't like chipmunks and stuff. Basically, like, mini forest squirrels. Those are cute. Love those guys. Those are great. Very cute, very awesome little animals. But no, squirrels are fine. Raccoons are great. What do you mean? Raccoons are the best. Trash pandas are, like, actually awesome. Trash pandas are the best. I will not hear any trash panda slander in my chat. Texas squirrels look like research. So yeah, I know there's brown squirrels and stuff. There's some, like, they just aren't in the, like, city, up here. Like, there'll be some in the woods, and stuff, but they've gotten basically, like, pushed out of the cities, I think. Raccoon's the closest thing to Big Chungus that we have in the... Yeah, that's one way of looking at it, I guess. But yeah, I love raccoons. I would not, like, go up to a raccoon or, like, want to interact closely with a raccoon. They're to be admired from a distance, but I still think that they're great. Because they just vibing in the city, like, not a big deal. They're just like chilling. Oh, do you have to save you now? Hoy, what are you doing, you clumsy little oaf? Swinging your rusty little nail around in the darkness? You almost struck me, and if you had, you would have been the end of you, trust me. I am Zote the Mighty, a knight of great renown. My weapon, Life Ender, has struck down hundreds of foes. Be gone or you'll be next. Like those long-eared red squirrels, tufts on the ears. Yeah, those are cute. Yeah, I don't like. Really, I'm more just like afraid of like the big like mangy like diseased-looking squirrels that we have near I live that are like on the street all the time. I don't really have a problem with like forest squirrels and stuff, though they have tried to ambush me and get me once. I was at my family has a college and stuff, so I was there, and they just there was like kind of like the mesh window like covering, and the window was rest of the window was open, and they just like climbed on there, on like all fours and stuff, hung on there and scared the ever living hell out of me, and so I took that as a personal affront and like. They tried to assassinate me there, but don't worry, I got the best of them and scared it off by running into a different room and letting it go away naturally. A classic assertion of dominance over it. But yeah. You don't talk, or who chooses when to break into your house, eat your food, and talk to you. I mean, the thing with that is squirrels can also just do the same thing. And hate having to clean up after them because they dig through the trash. You see, I have the other problem because on like trash, like garbage days and stuff, the squirrels are the one. By the time that I'm walking around, like the street and stuff, going outside, like when I was going to like high school and walking there and stuff, it would be the squirrels that are the ones that are like hidden in the trash cans that will just as soon as you get like they hear you get close, they're just gonna like shock you by scurrying out of there. Whereas the raccoons are mainly just gonna like they're gonna be like breaking into it at night, but like that doesn't really matter to me because it's night and I don't have to like see them and like jump. They don't have to jump scare me because I'm asleep. Once met a coyote, jogged slowly away, did the same thing to forest alpaca or llama. Not sure what it was. I didn't know that alpacas and llamas were forest animals. Oh, that's interesting. Coyotes and stuff. I haven't interacted with one closely, I don't think. But they do sometimes. I know there are coyotes where my family has a cottage, and I know that on occasion, though very rarely, a coyote does come into the city. Over near where I like live, and so we'll hear about it, and because we have a dog and stuff we have to be extra careful then. Moose, no antlers. I think sometimes female meese don't have antlers, but I could be wrong. God, they're gonna dock that. My Canadian monitor is gonna like Canadian CSIS agent is gonna dock me Canadian points for that. Too small to be a moose. Yeah, it could be. I guess like I mean maybe a deer or something. I don't know. I don't like. Yeah, I'm not too woodsy. I love going out in the woods and like walking around in nature and stuff. And I don't mind that. Like that's great. But I don't like go camping or anything that much. Cause I'm too like high maintenance basically. Don't even chug maple syrup. Hey now, don't throw wild baseless accusations like that. Of course I chug maple syrup. I'm at university. That's basically a drinking game. You know? Instead of shotgunning beers, we shotgun maple syrup. The reason we have healthcare in Canada is because we need the dental because of all the maple syrup we chug. That's just a fun Canadian fact for you. Yeah. I mean, if it's too big for a deer or too small to be I could only think maybe it's like just a young moose, but I have no idea. But yeah, after there are bighorn sheep and some mountain goats in the Grand Canyon. Oh, I did not know that. I didn't know that there were like kind of antelope-y type stuff in America. Huh. To be fair, I feel like it's safe to assume that if there's a type of animal, I think I think it's usually separate, Ricardio. I should have gone with a diabetes joke. Damn, that would have been better. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's separate. Oh, elk. I thought elks were just like large deer. I'm really starting to show my lack of like outdoorsness. Yeah. I feel like it's fairly safe to assume that if there's like a type of animal, America probably has like a version of it, just because y'all like it's such a big country with such different like environments that you have like such biodiversity. Whereas I feel like in Canada, we have like. Yeah, you have lots of biomes. We just have, like, temperate forest and, like, the part where you freeze your ass off in the north. But you guys have, like, you got, like, jungles or whatever in Florida. Like, all that kind of crazy stuff. What was I thinking of? But yeah, they're gonna dock, like, they're gonna, dock all my damn Canadian points after this stream. I said I didn't like winter. I said, I don't go door or anything. The maple syrup stuff. Oh, yeah. My CSIS agent is not going to be happy about me. Yeah. Oh, I should probably explain. CSIS is basically Canada's like FBI/CIA. Sorry, I should have probably explained what that is before referencing them. So that's why, like, if Mounties are basically just like our fancy police. Like, they do a lot of like, they I guess cover some of like the FBI like duties and stuff. But like for the people that would be monitoring like who would be monitoring like messages, monitoring all that stuff, then it would be the CSIS who like do all the electronic things. Only the RCMP is gonna visit you, give a stern talk to. One of my friends has actually had that happen before. Wasn't me. It was a friend who got visited by not the RCMP. It was by CSIS. Oh no, I made a terrible mistake here. But yeah, so he got visited by CSIS a few years ago. I don't know how much, like, I could say, like, nothing bad happened to him in the end, but I also want to be a bit careful about, like, not, revealing who it is or anything like that. But he did get visited by CSIS, because of, purchases that he was doing, basically. So they certainly track some purchases in Canada. That's 100% for sure. Although, I mean, considering what he was doing, I can't exactly blame them. Because, I think I can say it, is, he was basically building a rocket. Not to hurt anyone or anything like that. He's a very nice guy. But he was building a rocket, like, because he's an engineer and stuff, and he's interested in, like, rockets and all that kind of thing. So he was just building that, for a school project, basically, where they got to do, like, it was like they got free reign on what they could do, so he decided to build a rocket. And so, by purchasing the stuff for that, obviously that's a bit suspicious if it looks like you're building a rocket. And so, CSIS ended up visiting him. Got a work dinner to attend. I'll catch you later. Yeah, have a good dinner. I should probably go eat or get food at some point. I haven't eaten today. Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to learn the truth about space. Yeah, that's fair. Well, I haven't eaten today. I'm not hungry, okay? I'm not hungry. Appetite suppressants exist for a reason. It's so I don't have to eat. That's the solution to life's problems can be found in medicine. Appetite suppressants suppress the need to eat. Antidepressants suppress the need to be happy. Soon we will have medication for water. But yeah, no, I have food, like, in my room and stuff, and I'm gonna go, get food after as well. I'm just not in a rush to eat, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not hungry at the moment. Because that's one of the side effects of, like, the medications I take. Yeah. It's theoretically a big problem, but since I've managed to survive for, how many years is it now? It's grade 4. So, yeah, I've been taking, like, this type of medication for 10 years. So I haven't been eating a lot for 10 years. So if I can survive for 10 years, I can survive for another 12 hours or whatever, however long. So it's not that big a deal. Yeah. Not eating makes it a lot easier to keep track of my, like, heart rate and stuff if I wanted to. Because I can see it. I can just look down and start counting. It's much more convenient. I can't recommend that, probably. Yeah, it's very fun. Yeah. I mean, I'm still technically at a healthy weight, I think. Anyway, so it's not like... And I'm never, like, dying or anything of starvation or anything, like... So I'm like, yeah, I'm not too concerned. Honestly, the big thing about taking medication that, has appetite suppressants is it could be pretty awkward at restaurants. Because if I order something and I'm not that hungry, but I'm ordering either because I think I'm hungrier than I am, or like because like out of a courtesy thing, it's super awkward if I don't finish it, because I feel like it's the chef's not gonna be particularly pleased with me. So that's what takeout's for, yeah. It's why I don't like going to restaurants that much. Is because I find it like pretty awkward, and so I'd rather just avoid the situation in general. Well, it's not. I could drink a smoothie. It's basically like, I don't know how to explain it, but it does also affect like how much I drink and that kind of thing as well. It's just that it's a lot easier to make yourself drink on the medication than to make yourself eat, because so a smoothie and stuff would probably help. Restaurants are an indulgence when you have groceries and home kitchens. Yep, that is a very reasonable take. Yeah, I'm not going out to I'm not going out to restaurants like often, anyways. Like regardless of like whether I were to be like, regardless of my concern about being disrespectful. Hydration check. I do need to hydrate. But yeah, my point was that like even when I do go, I tend to not enjoy it because of that, or tend to like be hesitant at going because of that, because it just can sometimes be a bit awkward, or it's particularly bad if I'm at a friend's house, like if their parents cook something up, like when I was younger and stuff, because if they don't like know, I don't know, you don't like. I mean, a chef or something, I might never see it, like meet it or have their food again, interact with again, but like my friend's parents, you know, they're my friend's parents, so it's a bit different. But yeah, I do need to make smoothies and stuff more, and have like I guess the protein powders and all that type of stuff. I'm just too lazy. It's the sad truth of it. I was like, I'm surviving right now, so I don't need to fix it. Like, oh yeah, smoothies get messy, find it easier to eat fruits. Yeah, I mean, normally I don't really drink smoothies. The only reason I would is because, it's probably better for me, given my eating habits and stuff. But I wouldn't normally drink it outside of that, I don't think. Slushies though, no, slushies are good. Slushies are very good. If smoothies were slushies, that'd be a different story. But yeah, so my eating habits are, I've somehow managed to develop like the absolute worst, both like really liking junk food and being a pretty picky eater and stuff, and also just not eating often. So like I've managed to combine like I feel like the most unhealthy traits. Oh yeah, if grinding ice damages the blades, makes sense why they don't. Yeah, that makes sense then. Why we wouldn't want to make like slushies with that. That seems reasonable. Yeah. So I've managed to develop the worst food tastes, because I like when a lot of the time when I do eat, it's just gonna be like junk food and sodas and stuff, and I don't eat that often. Have you ever fallen on the ice? It's hard. Yeah, no, I've fallen. I live in Canada. Of course I've fallen on ice. I've fallen on ice more times than I can count. It's very painful. I'm just a bit surprised that, like, even for, like, blenders and stuff, I would have thought they would fare a bit better than, like, me. But I feel like maybe I shouldn't be too surprised. Yeah. The only thing my parents hate more about more than my eating habits are my social habits. So that's basically just how bad things are. Yeah, eating wise. Because I basically will like, yeah, I just have terrible eating habits. Don't be like me. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. Oh no, that is 100%. That is a substantial portion of why they put up with my D&D. 100%. Because even now, where I'm like, university and stuff's very mixed at the moment, and all that, they're very supportive of me going to D&D and stuff. Where like, I could be spending that. They're not like you should be spending that time, working on this stuff because they understand. Like, they feel like it's very important for me to be social and stuff. And so I super appreciate that from them. And so it's definitely why they support D&D, because they're less supportive of me, like, sitting in my room playing video games, which fair. I understand why they would be less supportive. Don't fault them for that. But yeah, so 100%, if D&D was not like social, they probably wouldn't be as supportive. I think they'd probably be as supportive as they are with like uh video game. Just like, cool, you can do that on your own time, but like, we're not gonna like actively help you as much. Yeah, I'm very lucky with like family and stuff. Uh, with like parents and everything. I've been very fortunate. And now they're burning all that goodwill by going on trips without me and everything. And I'll never forgive them. It's caused an irreparable divide. It's the ultimate betrayal, you could say. Sure, they didn't know I had any interest in going to Japan at the time. Sure, I never expressed any interest either until after they told me about it. I didn't realize that they were going until after things were already pretty planned. Is that my fault? Maybe. Shit, maybe it is. But they should have still let me come, even though I had university. Nerd is gone, let's party. Yeah, pretty much. That's one way of looking at it. Honestly, if they were to like be partying, they would probably invite me just because they would rather I do it, because I just don't do it. We go to Tokyo to try out all the arcade games there. Yeah, there's a lot of. I don't know specifically what I would see in Japan, to be completely honest, which is why like, I'm not incredibly keen on going. Like, it'd be awesome to go, but like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to like. I don't. It's not the first place I would go visit on my list, but it would still be amazing. Uh, but like, there's like the little things like the arcade games, seeing all like seeing the city and stuff. Apparently, it's really big and impressive, and all that kind of thing. Yeah, and they have a specific to me. There's a very interesting like they have a good naval museum in in Japan, which I would love to go see one day, where they have one of the ships from the Battle of Tsushima, like as a museum ship, which is pretty uncommon for like decently sized museum ships to be still around, especially like outside of America. So I would love to one day I would love to visit that and see it. Because my big option otherwise for seeing like ships and stuff is really go to America. Which is not I'm not against, but I don't know, it always I get nervous whenever I'm in America. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure why. And I've never had like bad experiences with Americans or anything either. Like every American I know is great. But I don't know, I just get like even more paranoid than I usually am. Maybe it's something in the water there. Making me paranoid. I think it's probably because of the guns, if I'm to be completely honest. Just because, I don't know, that kind of scares me. But I'm not against people having guns either. I just think it should be like fairly regulated because, you know, it's a gun. Yeah, depending on how my career goes, I could have a job involves traveling America or living there. Yeah, that is 100% true. And I'm not like against that. No, or a high crime area. No, I've been to I've been to America like a decent amount of times because like it's a pretty easy place. I've been to like New York, like Chicago. I've been to like a decent places around, I think as well. I've certainly other places that I can't remember off the top of my head. Florida, I've been to and stuff. I don't know where there specifically. Uh, and again, I've never had like really negative interactions or anything in America. I just New York and Chicago are. I know Chicago is. New York, really? Even like the touristy sections? Because I'd be in. That's where I would be. Because we're, you know, still tourists and stuff. African countries to be way more dangerous than America. America feels middle of ground and safety. Yeah, I think that's. I haven't been to really any African countries. Uh, Partly because like I mostly was traveling with my parents and stuff, and they were not keen on doing that because of that exact reason. Like they've went to Africa once, they really enjoyed it and stuff, but they're also very hesitant about taking us to like places, like Egypt, for example. They're a bit hesitant and stuff there, and other places in Africa. And so I think like U.S. is middle of the road, uh, but I would just be also just in general just a bit nervous. I think it really is just the guns, and I should get over it because I'm like it's a pretty irrational fear. Although someone in Egypt might try to sell you rug the whore. I think it was more because of like uh previous governance and stuff in Egypt was a dictatorship before I think Arab Springs. And so they're worried about like some kind of influence. And I know relatively recently, I think. Uh, yeah, Canadians have guns, don't they, for bear and moose? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't have any problem with guns for hunting. In fact, I think like that's totally fine by me. Uh, it's more like I feel like if you have to have a gun for self-defense and stuff, uh, I feel like that's more of a problem with like the state of where you are, and that should be like there's a root issue that's causing that to be necessary, and that guns aren't the right solution to that. It's a band-aid fix basically. If your career is about diplomacy and stuff, may want to take a sabbatical to visit other cultures to get perspective. Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely would love to do that. Like I said, I'm not against visiting like more dangerous places and stuff. Uh, and all that kind of thing, like, I would love to do it. I was just, up until recently, I would be traveling with my parents and stuff, so, and they're less keen on going to. Which I think, I mean, I can understand why. Shall not be infringed. Yeah, I don't, like, yeah. Infringing on rights, it's a very, gun ownership is a very complex issue. And so, I don't want to be, like, infringing on people, but I also don't think I don't think it should be necessary to have a, like, I don't know. It's just so complicated. Clearly. If it wasn't complicated, probably would have been solved by now. It should be mandatory to own. Maybe. Or I think that part of my problem is some of the reasons for gun ownership is at least there are some that like, make sense stuff, and I think like go shooting that would help with anxiety. Yeah, no, I would be interested in doing that. Like I'm not opposed to like using guns or like I find it interesting. I watch gun YouTube channels and stuff. I find the whole like I like guns and stuff, and I'm not opposed to shooting them. I just feel like widespread gun ownership, if it's like to the point where people feel it's necessary or like it's the best decision, generally does not correlate with like a safe environment. And so the root problem should be fixed of that. And I don't think that gun ownership is the fix. Make ARs legal would ease me a lot about visiting US, at least make Americans enlist to keep their ARs the way Swiss does it. Yeah, I think you never fuck around, you never find out. Yeah, that's fair, generally, but sometimes it isn't, and that's the unfortunate thing. But I do think that, yeah, prefer criminals not have guns, but gun laws aren't going to stop that. Yeah, like, it is a very complex issue. I think Canada does it decently. I think there is like certainly controversy and stuff with Canadian gun laws, and I'm not nowhere near an expert. But I feel like at least where we have been in the past few years of like guns for hunting and stuff is fine, and I fully support that. I think that's totally fine. Stuff is good, but like personal defense firearms aren't really necessary in my eyes. Because I feel like it just leads to situations escalating too much. Of course, this can be solved with proper, like, training, regulation, experience, vetting, and all that kind of stuff. And again, I know this isn't like a perfectly solved issue in Canada either. So it's a bit of like glass houses and stones and that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I respect you and talk about straight. I will say, and like, looking back even now, I'll probably relabel the stream, just so that if anyone watches it and stuff, they're a bit more aware. Just because I do, like we had talked about earlier, want to be better about labeling this kind of thing. Because I'm not like averse to talking about it. I enjoy like discussions like this and broadening my understanding and talking with other people. But I want to let people watching know what they're getting into beforehand. Especially when it's like particularly controversial stuff like gun ownership and all that kind of stuff. where it's like pretty decisive. Even though I do try to like stay in the center on it, because I do want to like try out, like go to a shooting range and stuff. It would be cool. Guns are very cool. Yeah. Yeah, when bring it up, we're just following your lead in chat. Yeah, no, that is totally fair. I think I've just, at this point in this stream at least, I've talked about it enough that I feel like, I mean, I don't need to, like, there's no reason to, like, try to stop quarantine or whatever. I'll just label the stream after I'm done, which is probably going to be pretty soon anyways, because it's, I have some stuff to do, later. But I'll just label it, say that, like, I don't know what I'll label it as, but I'll come up with some label just to, in case people, like, see it later. And then in the future, I'll just be a bit more careful about how I do it, and probably, have more dedicated streams or areas to it, because I feel like that's better. Maybe political talk or something that might attract the politics algorithm. I mean, it might. I mean, if anything, uh, yeah, Yab topics, but the topics in the description, that'd be good. Yeah, political talk or that thing. I mean, I don't. It could attract the politics algorithm. It also probably wouldn't, because I imagine YouTube doesn't want people talking too much about, like, politics. Which I understand why they wouldn't. I don't agree with, like, censorship or anything, but I understand why, like, as a business, they wouldn't. Oh, it could attract the deboosting algorithm. That's true. I mean, I don't think, like, I'm gonna get boosted or deboosted it's gonna, like, impact things too much anyways, I feel like. But, yeah. That's probably why I would want to, like, I mean, that's not why, but I would want to, in the future, like, label things a bit better. In case people do find me somehow on the algorithm. As unlikely as that is. I think I'm just gonna find a bench, and then maybe just rest at the bench and call it a stream, I think. We haven't been going, well, we have been going like 3.5 hours, which is nice. And I do have to get some work done, with university. So I'll probably call it here. And I will be streaming tomorrow at 3 with some Dead Space. More fun horror game that I definitely am not trapped into playing now. I need to come up with an outro. Anyways, yeah, see y'all. And make sure to check out, I'm sure everyone, already, like, knows the FlaVR people, but, always, check out, them, and I'll see if anyone's currently streaming.
Uh,
Juby streaming tonight at 10. Abigill streaming at 11. But other than that, I don't see any. So yeah, I mean, I'd say that's about it. Otsu, and I don't feel bad for saying anything, Yabai. Like, I mean, I talked about that stuff too. It's not a big deal. I just am gonna probably try to regulate it now. Yeah, no one is streaming right now. I was just looking at who was gonna be streaming, so that I could suggest that. But yeah, anyways, hope everyone has a great day, night. Happy time zone.